Titles, go.
Stop sign in the golden sun.
It tracks.
I'm the driver. Live from Upstate, it's Wednesday night.
Lucky I'm OCD. Yes.
Turtle down my pants.
Artificial stupidity?
Uncle Touchy. Just rolling my dice.
Finger stuff?
Huh? Baby Ruth?
Let's do this.
Warning. What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Hello, welcome to this week's edition of Geek Pod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Hugh.
I'm Corbs. DC.
I'm Jack.
Guys, what's got you geeked?
Well, I'm just so excited and over the moon that there's so much good material for my news segment these days. Almost more than I can take.
I'm noticing your sarcasm.
Somberness.
The tone of it. Yes.
That's it.
All right.
All right.
Corbs.
Which one? There's three of us.
You're only Corbs. You're Corbs, he's DC, and that's Jackass.
That's true.
Thanks,
So
asshole.
I don't know
Fuck off.
Wow. Trying to talk and everybody just keeps cutting me off. I guess I'm not supposed to talk.
Sorry, Corbs.
That tracks.
It's true. Very true. So I don't know if I mentioned this. I wanted to mention this, but I'm not sure if I did or not. So it's got me geeked is my son got some pretty exciting news a couple weeks back. I want to say two weeks ago, maybe. So he wrote a 10-minute play he had to create a writing class for school. And they had to write a play, 10-minute play or whatever. His teacher had him submit it to the Young Playwrights Association, along with 200 other applicants. And they selected 16 kids to have their play critiqued. And if it's selected as one of the finalists, the Syracuse stage will perform it for them. And my son was selected as one of the 16 kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
So he goes next, and that was the reason, Paul, why I asked you when the Comic-Con was. Because he goes next Saturday, the 22nd.
Ah, gotcha.
At 12 o'clock. He's got to go up there for an hour. He gets to sit with the drama department at Syracuse Stage. They will go look over his play, and they will make suggestions. And if they think it's good enough, they'll submit it to be one of the finalists. And then if it is selected as one of the finalists, they will perform the play for him. If not, he gets recognized at the festival that they have on April 29th. It's like a Tuesday night or something like that. So that's what's got me geeked. I'm super excited for him. So I mean, I told everybody.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
so cool, man.
Yeah. So he sent me the email when he first got it. He's like, "Hey, look at this." So and the bottom of it says, "If you want to participate, email us back." And I asked him, I just was like, "Hey, is that something you want to do?" He's like, "Fucking hell yeah, it is." I'm like, "Go ahead and email him then. Let him know what you want to get in." So yeah, so he emailed them. Like I said, he goes next Saturday at noon to Syracuse Stage.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so we asked a couple questions and whatnot. So like I can't go on the 22nd and sit there. So I gotta drop him off.
Right.
And then pick him back up after he's all done. So I'm trying to find a place to go right around Syracuse Stage. I know there's a coffee house like right across the street, but I looked and I don't think it's open at
Of
that
course.
time. So,
Yeah, I was about to
um,
say, what time are you going at?
well,
Noon.
I gotta drive. He's got to be there at noon, so it'll probably be like 11:45. Then I drop him off, type of thing.
It's like Franco's
Across,
Pizza.
I was going to say, across the corner from that is Franco's Pizza
Yeah.
and Dolce Vita.
Yeah,
And I don't know if they're owned by the same person or if they just have some sort of thing, but the lady that owns Dolce Vita does tons of keto stuff, like desserts and stuff, and they sell them in Franco's as well. So you go in there, they've got like keto cheesecakes and regular cakes and all this kind of stuff that has no sugar in it. It's super healthy.
Okay.
And
That's
they
awesome.
they even do like a personal pizza on a cauliflower crust, which you don't find in a lot of places.
Nice.
when
All
I
right.
did my property management job, she was the exact same thing. Everything you just said, Hugh. She is awesome. She'll cater to you and whatever you need. She's
Cool.
cool.
I'll have to give it a look then.
Very, very freaking cool.
I'm done.
I was gonna. Who's next?
All right, I'll go then. So, what's got me geek? So, I honestly was not finding anything. I was like, it's only been a week and I really can't think of anything. But I was like, all right, let's try this. This morning, as we know, we all work, call it the grind, same shit, different day, working shit or something like that. So, my normal shift right now is 7:30 to 4. So I was like, okay, this is nice. I'm waking up and it's starting to come sunlight. I'm like, this is not normal. This is kind of nice. And I look at the clock, it's 7:15. I'm like, shit, I gotta get to work. And then literally, yeah, as you know, I have tons of hair, which I have no hair at all. So like as you know, your hair is sticking up a little bit. So I have that little patch of hair sticking up right there. I'm like, oh, this is fucking awful. But I'm very lucky I'm OCD. So I lay my clothes out the night before and I put all my shit in the same area. So I just literally jump out of bed. I'm like, just jump right out, get all that stuff in order. And my job is less than 10 minutes away. So
Well,
I
that's good.
literally, I know I punch in at 7:29. So I'm there on time. But my boss is there and there's a whole line of people waiting to come in. So I'm like, okay, gotta get there going. So as you know, you know that feeling when you're like half awake and you're still trying to get awake and it's like, but you have to be awake because you have to focus. It's like, okay, I can do this. And you're like focusing and all that stuff. I get everybody all situated, and this lady's behind everybody. I'm like, why doesn't she come up next? Is she gonna come in? And she's like, she points at me, and it's like, hi, how are you? Can I help you? She's like, do you remember me? I'm like, of course I remember you. And like my boss is like, who is that? I'm like, I don't know who that is. Because we see over like 100 people a day. So like you have to put the Barbie smile on. It's like, how can I help you? She was like, you're the one that brought me water and you listened to my story. I'm like, yes, that's me. That's me. I'm like, I listen to a lot of stories. I don't know who this lady is. So she's like, I'll be right back. I'm like, okay. My boss is like, where is she going? I'm like, I don't know. So she comes back in and she's like, you said your office, your desk area is very blank and you don't do a lot with your office. Like, I have the tape dispenser, the stapler, the paper clips, like the post-its. That's all I need. I don't need anything special. She's like, here you go. I'm like, thanks. So I get a cactus from this lady, a calendar of tropical locations. I can't make this up. A Crunchman bobblehead from the Syracuse Crunch, and 12 dozen donuts from Dunkin' Donuts, which is pretty cool. So I share that with
12 dozen?
no, a dozen donuts. I'm sorry, a dozen donuts. Yeah, like yes, 12 dozen donuts for this big bad boy. Uh, um, a dozen donuts. I share them with my boss and my colleagues, and a $20 gift card to Dunkin' Donuts. She's like, you were super nice and you listened to me, and I really appreciate it. I'm like, of course, whatever we can do to help. So that's what's
And
got me geeked. So the array of things for my new desk, but a nice lady that I'll tell you right now, I still don't know her name.
that's hilarious.
So waking up late for work turns out to be a good thing, but you're literally half awake. You're like, okay, I'll take all this stuff, thanks. But I'm like, I'm good now. So that was a little improv right there, throwing all that stuff in. But I was like, let's try something different. That's what's got me geeked this week.
All right. DC. Well,
What's got me geeked is that right now, coming to you live from inside Upstate Hospital, um, I am trending in the right direction. I've been told that I'm waiting until I think tomorrow, 'cause tomorrow is Thursday. They'll have one more piece of information which will help determine how much longer I'm going to be on antibiotics and stuff like that. But what's really got me geeked is the fact that I I couldn't do something yesterday while I was here, and it really bothered me. For those of you who know me, know that back in 2022, I had my left leg amputated below the knee. And when I got that amputated, I knew I could do anything. I got this. I went right home. I didn't go to rehab facility. I didn't do anything. I went home. I got my leg amputated on a Friday. I went home the following Friday because I wanted to make sure everything was good. So yesterday, I had to put my prosthetic on my left leg for the first time in almost a year. And I couldn't stand up with it. And there was a shadow of doubt, and it scared the crap out of me. Like literally scared me, like I shook. So I looked around the room and I found something to focus on. And then today when I put my prosthetic on, I took the walker that's near my bed and I was able to stand straight up on my prosthetic 3 times. So, and put all of my weight on my left leg, which I haven't done in a long time. And the doubt went away.
Good.
So for me, it's a very big obstacle. Because I don't like doubt. I'm a question and answer guy. I ask a question, I want the answer. A lot of times I can figure out what the answer is, but when I don't have it, I get scared. So now that I know that I can do that, man, look out. Like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I want to be back at the table. I want to be at the cons with you guys. I got some cool shit. The next time I'm going to do my segment. I already talked to Paul about this, I think, with going over everybody's character one by one. Told Jack about it yesterday. I think I told Sean about it a couple of weeks ago. We're going to go through everybody's character from Tales from the Keep. We're going to ask some very specific questions and things like that. So that way, not only do we get to understand our characters, but we also get to understand each other's. So right there, just the focus, just the mental clarity right now has got me geeked beyond belief. So anybody who has ever been in my predicament or anybody who has friends like mine, you're blessed. You're absolutely blessed. And I just wanted to say thank you. That's it. I'm good.
All right. I don't have any inspiring words behind this. What's got me geeked is it's finally time for Footloose.
Pick up your Sundance shoes, Footloose.
Exactly, Jack.
Right? Kevin Bacon
Starting
style.
tomorrow night, Thursday, the 13th, Madison makes her debut on the Liverpool High School stage in their production of Footloose. So for the next 3 nights, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, well, 2 shows on Saturday, 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock. She'll be out there performing as Teen Ensemble number 7.
Nice.
Okay.
Um,
Nice.
and in light of all of what's come before recently, what we discussed there a couple weeks back, we weren't sure she was going to make it out of that stage, so it's kind of exciting. So,
Oh, it definitely is. I don't think there's
Yeah.
any kind of about it. I think it's definitely exciting.
a quick side story to it. I picked her up from practice Monday night, and she says, "Dad, they needed more people for the adult ensemble."
Ah!
So
Sorry.
fuck is wrong with this guy? Um, and so now I'm in the bar scene. I said, what? I said, what are you doing in the bar scene? She says, I sit at the bar and drink beer. I'm like,
Oh.
what? She goes, it's empty. I'm like, okay, well, obviously. I said, what do they have for you? It's a glass beer bottle. I'm like, really? It says Budweiser on it. I said, so you're basically dad. Little asshole said, yeah. Yeah, she agreed with me.
Of course she did.
But that's it for me. I'm really excited to see this with all the hard work they've put into it. They were just there. CNY Central was just there Tuesday morning to do a bit on them. I guess you can find one of the two that they filmed, one of the two performance pieces they did, numbers, on the CNY Central website. You can see a little bit. Madison is not in that one because they didn't use that one apparently that she was in, but they did a piece on it. They had to be at the school at 5 a.m. so they could be on the 6 a.m. broadcast. Yeah, that was good times yesterday. And
Happy for
so
you.
yes, yeah, it was very early for me. I just realized that I sat back and my mic was moved, so I don't know. Does it sound better now?
You sounded fine.
Yeah, you sounded fine.
I thought you were saying like they needed more adults in the bar scene, and she tabbed you to go into that part. I'm like, that's why I'm laughing. I'm like,
She
they
was
don't
like,
have enough
"My dad-"
adults.
She'd be like,
Go
my
on.
dad can drink beer.
Right. I see him do it all the time.
That's
They're
right.
like-
he's a
they're like,
professional.
"Cut." They're like, cut. He's like, keep going.
One more, hold on.
One more.
One more. That's right. He's a method actor. He's got to get into character.
But yes, we're going every day. Only one time on Saturday because I don't think I can sit through it twice in one day. But we're pretty psyched about it. So, and I would say go online and get your tickets, but this isn't going to come out before Thursday. So, but that's all I've got. And if I look at the schedule, I guess that means we're gonna throw it to break and then come back with the news. Hang out, guys.
Talking to the stranger with the skeleton flute was his first mistake. Playing it was his second. Be careful what you wish for never meant anything to 12-year-old Sam until the night he blows into the skeleton flute and wishes for his parents to stay together. The stranger promised Sam his greatest desire, but the morning after the low, warbling note came out of the glowing flute, Sam's life has been turned upside down. His brother and sister don't exist, and his best friend doesn't know him. His parents are together and happy, but is it worth sacrificing everyone else he loves? Caught in a web of unintended consequences, Sam must try to get his old life back, despite the challenges that wait for him if he succeeds. And that means uncovering the mystery behind the strange man's identity and the skeleton flute. The Skeleton Flute hits shelves on August 27th. You can pre-order your copy now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your local indie, and most major book retailers.
Now, before you decide to go buy some grounding sheets for your chronic pain, let me tell you, bed sheets you have to plug into the wall is some frou-frou California avocado toast RFK Jr. bullshit. Let me save you the money. I am a stop sign in the bright golden sun. Now, here's the news. First up, speaking of wastes of money, yesterday, President of the United States and the Vladimir Putin fan club, Donald Trump, made a visit to a Tesla dealership to buy a Tesla and support poor Elon Musk. Musk's company has been dealing with protests and losing billions due to his Doge Bro gangbang of the entire federal government. During this paid commercial for Tesla, Trump stated that you do it to Tesla, you do it to any company, we're going to catch you and you're going to go through hell. What does that mean? Well, when asked by a reporter if he would begin treating protesters who commit violence at Tesla dealerships as domestic terrorists, he responded, I will do that. I'll do it. I'm going to stop them. So in the past week, a guy who protested Israel over the killing of Gazans was detained for deportation because not wanting the Gazan people to get wiped out aligns with Hamas. And now protesting American businesses can be labeled as terrorism. And before you call out violent protests, how many times have we seen peaceful protesters get beat up and accused of violence in the past? All security has to do is claim they saw a weapon and boom, your rights and due process are suspended under the Terrorism Act. This basically means any dissenting voices, be that at a college campus or outside a Chick-fil-A, can be silenced with no rights or rule of law to be followed. And to anyone saying they won't abuse the system like that, really? Really? Who's going to hold them accountable? Congress? When the only person in government actually kind of sort of following the law is conservative Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett, we are pretty fucked. That's like Hitler being the last best hope for the Jews. Well, maybe not quite the same, and I'm probably on a terrorist watch list now just for saying that, but maybe I'm okay because I didn't say Hitler and Home Depot were the same. That would land me in get 'em up. Next up, speaking of attacking American businesses, Elon can't seem to keep it up. I mean, of course, the social media platform X, which was hammered this week by cyber attacks. On Monday, it went down at least 4 different times, and some functions were still sketchy as of yesterday. Musk came out and proclaimed that the attack came from the Ukraine area, even though independent reviews stated Ukraine was not even in the top 20 IP addresses involved in the attack. So Ukraine started the war with Russia and X, because we can say anything we want, and that makes it true. Don't think I've forgotten about you, Mike Lindell. The actual truth seems to be that several of the X Origin servers were not protected by Cloudflare. This left them vulnerable to DDoS attacks, the kind of thing you'd expect the richest, smartest person in the world to have handled. Hey, you know who else is in the Ukraine area right now that aren't Ukrainians? Too bad we stopped monitoring all the Russian cyber attacks last week. I guess we'll never know. And finally, Turtle Security Administration. A man in New Jersey was detained at Newark Liberty International Airport after the TSA scan indicated something strange in his groin area. When pressed about the anomaly, he pulled out a blue towel with a live red ear slider turtle wrapped inside. Not some illegal or endangered and valuable turtle. Not some exotic turtle going to the highest bidder. Not the last of its species destined for a billionaire's table because he likes eating endangered animals. The red-eared slider, the most common pet turtle in the country. I mean, I guess bravo if you're that attached to your turtle that you can't stand to be away from it. Down my pants would not have been my first option, but whatever. I just feel bad because they confiscated the turtle and kicked the guy out. Couldn't they have just handed the turtle back and refused him service? The turtle is obviously very important to him. And what the fuck do you do with a contraband turtle? Now it's all scared and wandering around the concourse, wondering where its owner's penis is. That's just cruel. And that's the news, kids. Now, don't worry about us apparently having reached peak AI for training purposes. Now that the Department of Education layoffs have begun, we are going to get a lot dumber in general. So AI can start training on artificial stupidity. It won't need to be that smart. We've created an entirely new market brought to you by Kid Rock and Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer. And it's not like this is the first time a McMahon has taken something over just to shut it down. Paul?
Dad jokes. I'm reading a book on the history of glue. Can't put it down.
I got one for you too.
I knew that was coming.
3 golf clubs walk in a bar. Putter orders a tequila. 7 iron orders vodka. Bartender looks at the third club. He goes, "Anything for you?" He goes, "Nope, I'm the driver."
4.
Sports.
figured I'd leave with that one heading into the sports segment. It's golf season. That's good.
Sports is done.
All right, all done. Players Championship is this weekend, so it starts tomorrow, which is the 13th. So I don't know when this will come out. So started on March 13th. So if it comes out after that, sorry. Um, it's one of the courses that is a public course that they play on that I'd like to play on. It's the best. It's got the best hole on any golf course anywhere. Excuse me. It's the 17th green. It's an island green. It's fantastic. That's the only reason why I'd ever want to play that course. So,
Corbs, if I ever talk to my uncle, that is his course, and he says that hole is a bitch, but
yeah,
it's doable.
yeah. I watch every year. And sure enough, like 4 or 5 guys put it. More than 4 or 5 guys. A ton of people just drop it in the water there. So, I mean, I'm sure I would lose probably a dozen or so golf balls on that hole. But just to say I played it would be fun. So that's one of those pipe dreams for me. I mean, I got to the Masters. To place the TPC at Sawgrass would be another one. Um, so I'm gonna do something that I normally don't do, and this is kind of, for Jack. I'm gonna talk a little football.
I thought we didn't do that anymore.
We don't do that anymore, but it's free agency started this week. So we're gonna run through a list of guys that have signed contracts. So DeMarcus Lawrence signed a 3-year deal with the Seahawks. Jack lost Darius Slade. He signed with the Eagles.
He signed with the Steelers, bro.
I'm sorry. You're right. Sorry. He's from the Eagles. Sorry.
Other
He's
end of the
from
state.
Eagles. Signed with the Steelers.
It's okay.
Evan Ingram, he signed a 2-year deal with the Broncos. These are some of the bigger guys that have signed. Aaron Rodgers, everybody knows who Aaron Rodgers is. He was cut by the Jets. That 2-year disaster is finally over. One of the big signings, I think, of this past couple of days is Joey Bosa, signed with the Bills. He was with the 49ers. His brother plays for the Chargers. I think at some point, I think they're going to end up playing on the same team together.
His brother plays for the 49ers, dude.
Yeah,
Nick.
Yeah.
Nick plays for and Joey played for the Chargers. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Too many Bosas. Another big signing is the Ravens picked up DeAndre Hopkins, gives Lamar Jackson another target. I think that'll be good for both of them. I think Lamar, barring any injuries, he may win the MVP next year with DeAndre Hopkins and Derrick Henry running the football. So that'll be a good team to watch next year. I think that kind of puts them as one of the top favorites in the AFC. I think the Bills, with what they did this offseason so far, are right up there too. I mean, getting Bosa is pretty good. The other one I had on here is they did extend Josh Allen. He's now the richest player in the NFL. He signed a 6-year, $330 million extension. I think it was $250 million guaranteed or something like that. So that's a big one. That's like I said, it makes him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. So, couple other signings. One I'm not really too sure about is Daniel Jones to the Colts. He was a bust with the Giants. Hopefully he gets his act together with the Colts because I'm not sure about Anthony Richardson either. So I guess neither one of them is any good. Should be a fun season for me. Jack, you also lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Got traded to the Texans.
Yep.
This one's a little closer to home, Jack. You know who this guy is. I'm sure Danny might know. Afatu Malafwano. He signed with the Dolphins. He is a former Orangeman. He played here at Syracuse.
Mhm.
So another big signing. Another team that's kind of put themselves in the running here is the Broncos. They signed Dre Greenlaw. Jack, what's his claim to fame right now? You remember what he did?
Enlighten me.
2 years ago at the Super Bowl.
He touched a little kid.
He was the guy that was jumping up and down on the sidelines,
Yes,
Went
I
to,
remember. Yeah,
they got the ball back. He went to go in, jumped, landed, and blew out his Achilles tendon.
I do remember that. You're right.
And after
I
he
always
got
wanted
hurt,
better.
the 49ers were winning at that point, and after that happened, they
All the
ended up
momentum got deflated out of
yep,
it.
they ended
No
up
pun
losing the
intended.
game. Um, Dolphins signed Zach Wilson. He's another Jet, second quarterback Jet on this list that was signed by a different team. Um, and then obviously we mentioned Josh Allen, but Jack, this is for you. Saquon signed a 2-year, $41 million contract. That is one of those that you bet on yourself and it kind of worked out for you.
Yep. It's
So,
after these 2 years are up, it's his remaining 2 years, so I'm
yep.
excited about that.
Yeah, so he should be good. That's pretty good. So
Yeah.
that's what I got for football. So we can stop talking about that now.
One football thing though I do want to say though, the one that you didn't say that I was excited for was Sam Darnold, 3 years, 100 million to the Seahawks. He got drafted by the Jets. Jets are a shitty organization. He went
Yep.
to the Vikings to prove himself after a couple stints with 49ers and Panthers. And then he bet on himself and he's got the bag and he's with the Seahawks now.
Yep. And the other one that I didn't mention that I forgot to mention was the Seahawks trading
Hmm.
Geno Smith to the Raiders to reunite him with Pat Carroll.
Pete,
So that should be good for the hopefully that's good for the Raiders.
Yeah, let's them do something else at number 6.
Yeah.
That's what they have in the draft. One of the ones you should mention is Myles Garrett.
Oh, yep.
Myles Garrett of the Browns says, "I want to be traded," and
Yep.
the Browns say, "No, we're going to give you $40 million a year," and he's like, "Okay, I'll stay." So he's
Yep.
now the highest paid
Yep.
defensive player. It was Max Crosby from the Raiders who signed for 3 years for 180
100,
something or
yep. 180,
103.
186.
yeah.
100, what was it?
It was 103 million.
103
Yeah,
million. Yeah.
103 million, but he was getting like $35 million a year. So
Yeah.
Garrett surpassed him. So, but yeah, I don't want to stay. I don't want to be here. I want to be traded, but we're not going to trade you. We'll just give you $40 million. Okay, fine.
Are any of these guys the ones you were talking about like last week or the week before that have more than one pair of testicles? The ones with the multiple sacks.
No,
No.
Oh, okay.
no. I mean, basketball getting towards the end of the season. Um, Same with hockey. Big news in hockey is Alexander Ovechkin is closing in on Wayne Gretzky's all-time. It's goals, right, Dan?
Yes, goal scoring record,
Goal
not
scorer record.
points, not assists, it's goals.
He's nine shy or something like that.
Yeah.
I did see something, and I don't know how true this is. Um, Ovechkin said he's not going to resign. He's done after this year.
Well, his
Because,
contract goes for another couple of years.
yeah, but I don't. I think he says he's what 41, 42 years old,
40.
right?
He's 40.
Yeah, so he'll be if he played next year, he'll be 41. I mean,
Right.
so I saw something now. It could be one of those fucking onion news things that he's not going to resign type of thing, or he's just going to. But that was the other thing. That's a kind of big news that's going on is to see how close he gets this year if he breaks it this year. So
Right.
it's one of those records that's been standing for a while. So I got nothing else.
All right. Well, then I guess it's time to talk a little wrestling.
Wrestling.
All right.
Mescaline? What?
Mescaline.
Masculine?
Wrestling with the mescaline? I don't know.
Wrestle? Oh, that doesn't sound right.
So is it Mescalmania? What?
WrestleMania. We're almost there. We're on the road. We're on the road.
On the road to Mescalmania. Okay.
On the route. On the route.
All right. So the big one, I mean, we can't not talk about it since I kind of shut it down last week because we wanted to talk about it, but we couldn't talk about it. The ginormous heel turn that happened at Elimination Chamber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
That
yeah.
was pretty good. That was awesome.
John Cena turns heel for the first time in 20 some odd years, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
2004, I think was when they said last time he was a heel.
Hmm. You couldn't have done the heel turn any better.
Oh, I
That
agree.
was
He should
pretty
have
fucking
worked on
perfect.
his bad guy face though, because it just looked wrong. It just looked weird.
He kind of looked like an English bulldog.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Except for the bald spot.
Well, aren't they going to shave? Like, a rumor has it he's going to shave his head now.
I don't know if it's really going to happen. One of my favorite things that's happening on social media right now is people using WWE 2K25 to create walkout entrances for Rock and Cena, and I think they're using like all of the women's like entrances and stuff. So
I
That's
saw one
awesome.
of those.
there was a good one where Cena was dressed up as a cheerleader.
Oh,
You
um,
know, I feel like that WrestleMania main event would have been okay if they hadn't turned him heel. I'm not saying that I don't agree with it or anything, but there's this in the business, there's this traditional thing that, it has to be face versus heel. And we know from the Attitude Era that's not true. I
right.
would have been just as excited to see face John Cena against face Cody Rhodes, because that would have been a passing of the torch moment.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and I do. You're right. I do feel like they ruined that whole passing of the torch thing, and I think that's because we're not getting a passing of the torch. Cody is going to drop that title to Cena and let him run with it for 2025.
But you say we're not passing the torch, but I mean it's really already happened. Cody is the face of the company for the next
Yes,
decade.
yes, yeah. But I'm saying we don't get that moment in the match. That's not
I
what it is.
I also just questioned, because I mean we talked about this before, and I said I thought he'd get another title reign, but it would be closer to the end. I just, considering how old he is and his win-loss record, it's kind of hard to believe he's going to hold on to that title for an entire year. Holy crap, this cat really wants it.
And this is where I disagree because he's going to hold on it because as a heel, he can do all the dirty, cowardly bullshit. He can have all of the help. You know what I mean? We're going to see the rest of, I think we're going to see the rest of the bad guy bloodline, the new bloodline, end up like if they get their shit together between Solo and Jacob, they're gonna end up being the lackeys for Rock, who are then going to be the lackeys for Cena to keep the title on him, and it's gonna be all the underhanded shit, and we're gonna get all of the greatest hits of all of the top baby faces going at him for the rest of the year, leading up to what Ruthless Aggression
Yeah.
Yep.
is going to be
Yeah.
his title, and I think that's when you see him drop it back to Cody.
So we're getting
I agree.
Bloodline, what, 42.3 or something?
Yes, 4.4.3. Yes.
But it's pretty cool though, like respect for Cody Rhodes. Didn't they approach him? They said, "We want you to turn heel," but he's like, "No, I can't do that." And they had the Rock and then John Cena turn heel and all that because they actually
Yes.
wanted Cody to be the heel. So exactly. But no, like I know there's another stupid rumor going around. I did see a six-man tag match. It was gonna be literally Cody Rhodes, Bad Bunny, and Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock, John Cena, and who's the other guy? What's his name again?
Travis Scott.
Travis
Travis
Scott.
Scott. Like
I've got some
they would do
stuff to
something
say
like
about
that
him
because
too.
they saw The Rock was going to interfere in that match, and then you see Stone Cold Steve Austin's music go off. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
Something like that could happen because there's already been the rumblings of Stone Cold saying he's going to be at WrestleMania.
Right.
Because I think he's kicking himself for not being a part of it. He turned it down last year. Apparently, he was supposed to be in the spot that the Undertaker was in.
Correct.
Right.
Um, so I mean, I think we're going to see something to do with that. I also like how Ric Flair's inserting himself in it.
How's that? I haven't seen that.
He came out right afterwards and said that he's training. He's gonna be there and he'll make his way through the crowd and over the barriers to get in to make sure that Cena doesn't break his record. Like he'll do whatever he's got to do. He said he'll take the day off of his blood thinners.
Oh, God. Oh, he'll
Do
pass out
you-
in the crowd.
Do
He'll
you
die.
think that Cody Rhodes is actually capable of a heel turn?
I don't think so. He wouldn't do it in AEW. He's over as the pure babyface here in WWE, not here in my house. He's not right over there. It's
He's
Liar.
just in the corner, just chilling.
Liar.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, who was the last pure babyface we had that had this kind of um traction?
it's been a long time because I mean when you try, ever since the Attitude Era, when you try to do the pure babyface thing, the fans turn on him. No one buys it.
Yeah, and
No one,
they said that they were going to everyone was going to turn on Cody when he got there, and they didn't.
right.
I I don't think he has it in him, and I don't think the crowd would accept it.
No. And again, I mean, of course I would have said the same thing about Cena a month ago. You're not going to turn someone like that heel when they are making so much money at the merch table.
Yeah, but I guarantee it, his merch went up when he turned heel.
You think? Because do you think people are still wanting to buy
Yeah, buy
the
it to
last
just
time is now?
buy
I'm sure, yeah.
it to desecrate it.
I don't know if I'd spend that kind of money just to piss on a
Well,
shirt.
But
that's
you've
just
been
you, but that's not, somebody else might want to, decide to say,
Right.
I mean, think about this, right? So I'll use this as an example. So back years ago, LeBron James goes from Cleveland to Miami. Now, if you're a LeBron James fan, but you're also a Cleveland fan, and he goes to Miami to try to win championships with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, you're going to burn his jersey. You're going to go to whatever store has a jersey, whether it's cheap or whether it's one right out of the store that costs over $100. And if you really are intent on being whatever it is that you are, a super fan or a crazy fan, whatever like this, and you're going to burn it, you'll pay whatever it is.
No, nobody's buying shirts to burn them in this economy.
God, I hope
You
not.
never know,
Well,
though.
it's
You
true,
never
but
know.
you never know.
But like,
I don't think
yeah.
it's enough to put a dent in the bottom line, and he's going to have new merch out that says whatever, give up or something. They're going to be selling different shirts
Oh,
anyway.
yeah.
Fuck them
Something else you got to consider here, DC, is that John Cena was huge with the kids. The kids are crying. They're not asking for John Cena shirts now. I
Right.
can't see any way that the drop off from that is being balanced out by people wanting to burn the shirt. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't see any logic in that.
Mhm.
Anybody, now that we're sitting here talking about it and I'm kind of going back over it, does it seem like Cena turning heel is like Hogan turning heel?
That's what they're saying. They're saying it's the second biggest heel turn in history, right after Hogan with the NWO.
Okay.
Well,
Like I said, I was just sitting
Yeah.
there going, man, this seems kind of vaguely familiar.
But you know what? It's not as big as Hogan. I mean, it is the biggest one since Hogan. God damn it, cat! Stop it! This is just all over my desk. I just I'm not saying that that Hogan's bigger than Cena, but at that time we'd never seen anything like that before. So culturally, it was a much bigger deal. I don't. I mean, that all when he made that turn, it also made the NWO cool. I don't think that Cena's going to have that kind of cultural relevance in his heel turn.
I don't think it
Yeah.
goes any further than what we've got here, but it was
Yeah.
a huge moment for
Yeah.
the industry. And I mean, what they say, over 500 million views by the next
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Insanity.
but yeah. Go ahead.
No, because I'm about to turn a corner. So if you have something else with this, go ahead.
No, I want to change the corner too into another
All
thing
right.
too.
Oh, are you tired of talking about John Cena, Jack?
Yeah.
Are you sad?
No, don't give two shits about it anymore. I'm already over it.
Madison's not happy because those
No,
were
of
her
course
two
not.
favorites. Those, yeah, it was Cody and Cena, and when that happened, I took the time to watch her while it was happening, and just the look of horror on that kid's face. I may have taken joy in it a little bit, but I mean, she didn't cry, and you know what I mean. But she was just like,
Flabbergasted.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
everybody was, yeah.
it was good times. I gotta reach all the way over here now. Jesus. But no, I wanted to touch upon the fact that what's his name? Travis Scott. Um, he's in some shit with the locker room now, huh?
Yeah,
So
did you-
is this real or is it kayfabe? Because
As far as I know, it's real. He busted his eardrum and gave him that black eye.
I didn't pay attention at the time, and I haven't gone back and looked. Can you tell was he really clocking him? Like nobody told him,
Yes.
hey, don't actually punch.
It wasn't a punch; it was an open palm, and you can see it and I noticed that when like Cody's I was like, wow, he's really selling that because you see him haul off on it and like straight pimp slap him in the face, and Cody's head just whips around and he covers himself up. And I was like, wow, he really sold that for this guy. Like, holy shit. And then the word came out the next day. He was like, yeah, he burst his eardrum, like actually hitting him, and now like he's got heat with the guys backstage. So
Wow.
yeah. So hopefully, if a rapper or not, he's got a receipt coming, I hope.
Oh yeah.
He's got the IOU.
Yeah.
I don't even know who the fuck he is.
I only do now because of that.
Right.
And he's
Wow.
the guy that has the hardcore belt, right? He's the one that Triple H gave the belt to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Um,
Whatever.
so my only other thing I have here is the WrestleMania 41 card. Looks like after Monday night, that's really taking shape now, huh?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, go ahead, Corbs, you
well,
first.
I was watching the match, and you know when they went tight on Seth, like right on, I was like, and everybody, you could hear everything in the background. I'm like, well, that's, and I said out loud, I said, that's fucking Reigns. Roman's there. So
Yep.
sure enough, he yanked him out of the cage,
Yeeted his ass out of the ring.
right?
Well, it's going to be an awesome triple threat match between those three. But the thing that I never thought about that was going to be interesting, the Paul Heyman dynamic, he's going to be so conflicted because literally he's the wise man for Roman Reigns, but he has a soft spot for CM Punk. And then Roman Reigns comes in and throws him against the cage like a rag doll. And then like Paul Heyman's like, what do I do? But like that could be very interesting for that dynamic. Like who's gonna win that fight? Could Paul Heyman get involved? I don't know. Like something's gonna be interesting in
I
that
think you're
fight.
right. Paul Heyman's going to win that fight.
Yes.
Yes, Paul.
It's gonna be a
Yes,
fatal four-way.
yes.
I just think you throw Braun in there, and you got
All right.
everybody who's
Turn it into a battle royal. Jesus Christ.
right.
Good.
So what do you
Or-
think about it's going to be, it's Bianca and Tiffany Stratton?
No,
No.
it's
Charlotte.
Bianca and Io Sky.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
and Rhea's going to
Gotcha.
be involved in that too.
Right.
That'll be a triple threat match too.
Yeah, I was gonna say
think so?
after
Yeah.
she bitch slapped both of them, it's gonna be a triple threat.
Two
I
on.
just, you know what's weird about this is 2 years ago, Bianca was like at the top of the card. And now I'm just like, are they gonna have her job to EO Sky? I was talking a few weeks back about who the fuck is EO Sky. And I can't imagine her jobbing to her. EO just got the belt. Is she gonna lose it a month later? I mean, clearly they want to push her. That's not how you push somebody. And if Rhea gets involved, we just reset everything back to the way it was. I just don't understand what the goal is here.
Yeah, I don't know. It almost feels to me like they're trying to make room for as many women to have a highlight at Mania as possible. Because now the rumors also are that we're gonna see Becky come back, and it's gonna be Becky versus Liv at WrestleMania as well to get another women's match on the card. Because I think the only other thing that they've got going right now is Charlotte and Tiffany, right?
So you'll
Yeah.
see, but I think you'll see Liv and Raquel.
Yeah, shouldn't they fight?
Oh, that's right, because they've got the women's tag belts
They
now.
have, they have
Tag
tag
match.
titles.
Yeah. So you see, I mean, you're gonna have Bailey versus Roxanne.
After Monday. Yep.
Yeah.
Will be like Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch. I don't know.
Apparently they have big plans for Bliss that's gonna roll into the Wyatt Six.
Okay.
Because she's doing the Sister Abigail as her finisher.
Yes. And she's wearing the coat that says Fiend for Life.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I mean, you may actually see, I know she had some heat with Roxanne Perez too.
Mhm.
So you may see that one might, that might play out a little bit too. I don't know. I know
Yeah.
Roxanne and Bailey have been kind of going back and forth.
And do we see Jey Uso beating Gunther? Because I don't think Gunther's going to lose that title. He won't lose it.
I don't think you can put the title on Jay right now.
You
I
can't.
don't think, and if you do, I think it's going to be a misstep.
I do
Yes,
too.
he's popular. Yes, he's a merch seller. I don't think he's ready to carry a title. I mean, they threw the Intercontinental title on him for what, 2 weeks, and that was done?
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So-
I mean, you got to think he's on an upward trajectory. Once you get the belt, there's a huge potential for that to plateau and then go down because you've got to switch storylines. They may make him less valuable by giving him the belt.
That's true.
And I would think I I would think it makes more sense for him to take a different title because if you're going to build Gunther as some big unstoppable champion, he can't keep losing his belt every year.
Right. Yeah. But also, I mean, they've been writing that like they've been disappointed in his world title run.
Oh, have they really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It doesn't seem to be catching with people.
Well, because he's not on all the time.
I mean, that seems to be a thing when you get the world title. You just,
Sure.
What are
And
they
yeah.
expecting to happen though? He's a
I
bad
don't
guy.
know. Yeah. Like I mean, are we expecting him to become like the next Roman Reigns, like the next monster heel like that? Like that's not his character. Um, I feel like he's kind of getting away from his character a little bit now.
Yeah, I've
Like
noticed that
it
too.
seems odd. Like they're not quite sure what to do with him. And I understand as the world champion, there's more expected of you. You got to get on the mic, you got to do stuff. And the way his character is, I mean, it doesn't really play to promos. And I guess like in real life, dude's hilarious.
Mm.
But that doesn't get to come across with the character he plays.
Yeah.
So I
And
don't know.
then they're moving towards what, a Drew McIntyre versus geez,
Damian
Damian
Priest.
Priest WrestleMania fight.
Yeah. But I
Giant, I
think
don't know. Maybe that could be good.
they don't have a lot of time to build that rivalry, and they're not showing a lot of it on SmackDown.
Well, they just showed McIntyre lay out Damian Priest. That was the last they showed of it.
Hmm
That was last week, but
I mean that match feels to me like the Flair and Stratton match. It feels like the same character, a few versions later, like Charlotte Flair, versus Tiffany Stratton, who's like slightly bustier Charlotte Flair, and Drew McIntyre is bigger, buffer Damian Priest. I mean, they have very very similar,
They're almost
characters.
interchangeable. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that it's bad because I'm excited. It's weird thinking about seeing, Flair and Stratton, but I'm also excited about it. I mean, I'm kind of like they're almost the same character, but hey, this should be really good. So,
Yeah. I think that'll be a lights out match. Like I
did
think they can do
any
something real special.
did anybody catch the I know we talked about how awful AEW is, but I had to go back and watch it because I read about it. The Tony Storm Mariah May hardcore match at the pay-per-view that if you get a chance, Paul, go back and watch it.
Okay.
It is really bloody. There was, I mean, they did some very deep cutting. I'm talking like, Bret Hart tapping or, making Stone Cold pass out levels of cutting. It
Wow.
was a crazy match. And they even had wrapping the tape on the hands and the buckets of broken glass and all sorts of shit. Yeah, it was nuts.
That's
wow.
crazy. I mean,
I didn't watch anything else on the thing. Well, I did catch that Hangman Adam Page has a fucking mustache now or something. He looks stupid.
yes.
But that was a really good match.
Um, they really put the work in with that storyline because didn't she attack Tony Storm on the red carpet for the premiere of
Yeah.
that movie?
Yep.
Wow.
I heard that too, yeah.
The hell? Like that's going a little far.
I mean, it seems like Tony Storm's the only thing they really have going for them at this point because I never hear about MJF anymore. I mean, I'm sure he's still good, but
Yeah, I was just looking at the TV. He was just on. He was John with the MVP.
Oh,
Wow.
so they're gonna put him in a program with Lashley now.
Probably.
Jeez.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know who won that match at the pay-per-view. Hangman or MJF.
Hangman did.
Hangman did.
That's what I heard. I didn't see
yeah.
any of it.
There's this
We-
thing you can go on your phone, type in AEW.
I
and
could, but it's way over there, and every time it
Is
goes
it too
off,
far away? It's like,
I just don't want to put the letters AEW in my phone because then I'll start seeing shit and advertisements that I don't want to see.
This is also true.
But now that you're talking about it, you're gonna have it on your phone.
Right? It's going to be on
Yeah.
all of our
Fuck
social
me.
media. Yep.
Yeah.
AEW, cancel that.
I feel so bad because I mean, for a while it was really good, but I just
Yes. When I first got back into pro wrestling, I was all about it. Like Wednesday nights, like I would record it. So after we were done recording, I would go upstairs and watch it. And now I don't think I've seen any of it since Punk got fired. that was the last time I watched. So,
Do
I
we
just
also,
watch
yeah,
it because sometimes there's nothing else on Wednesdays, you
right.
know? Like I'll just turn it on. Like I did. I had it on before we started recording. I was watching it, and then I was hoping that MJF would come out first. And but he came out while we were recording, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna turn his voice on right now. I want
right.
to, but I'm not gonna.
Well,
You
you know
know,
what you can do on Wednesday nights, DC?
what's that?
Record a podcast.
Well, when we are, yeah.
Do
All
we
right.
also want to say though, Raw the
No.
next 3 weeks though is in Europe, so it's at
Yes.
3 p.m. It's gonna screw with us. It's like my invites are at 3 o'clock. I'm like, come on, like I am working during the day, and then those calendar invites are gonna go off midday. It's like Raw's starting. I'm like, this doesn't help me right now.
Oh, that just means I'm going to make sure I work from home next Monday.
They're like, Paul, we see a trend. Why do you want to be home these next 3 Mondays? It's like 3 o'clock. You're booked. What's going on
Right,
here?
yeah. I've got 3 hours blocked out there at the end of the day.
Are you in a meeting? Yes, I'm in a 3 hour meeting.
But that's all I really have for wrestling. Is there anything I missed there, fellas?
I don't think so.
All right.
Mm.
Well, once again, let's throw it to break and we'll come back and we'll bring this thing home. Stick with us,
Stick
guys.
with us, guys.
Talking to the stranger with the skeleton flute was his first mistake. Playing it was his second. Be careful what you wish for never meant anything to 12-year-old Sam until the night he blows into the skeleton flute and wishes for his parents to stay together. The stranger promised Sam his greatest desire, but the morning after the low, warbling note came out of the glowing flute, Sam's life has been turned upside down. His brother and sister don't exist, and his best friend doesn't know him. His parents are together and happy, but is it worth sacrificing everyone else he loves? Caught in a web of unintended consequences, Sam must try to get his old life back, despite the challenges that wait for him if he succeeds. And that means uncovering the mystery behind the strange man's identity and the skeleton flute. The Skeleton Flute hits shelves on August 27th. You can pre-order your copy now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your local indie, and most major book retailers.
So, guys, what are we watching?
Well, I'm sure we're going to talk about Daredevil at some point. So I'm just going to say, I just nothing super major interesting. We are watching the Buffy and Angel series. I think I might have mentioned that we started watching that as a family. We're at the point now where we have to flip back and forth between the two shows because there are some storylines that cross over. But my daughter is completely and totally insane about it, and like if we can't watch a full episode before she has to go to swim, she like throws a complete shit fit tantrum and is crying all the way to swim. It's bizarre. Considering 2 seasons of her fighting me, going, I don't want to watch this. This is stupid. So I don't know. I don't know how that mind works. But I'm enjoying watching it.
Nice. Yeah,
It definitely holds up if you haven't
Good.
seen it before.
And now they're talking about a reunion or something, right?
Yeah, that timing was fortuitous. Yeah, I talked about that a few weeks ago. So hopefully there'll be some solid news on that or movement by the time we get done with the series.
Outstanding. All right. Anybody else?
So basically, watched 3 movies this weekend that I've seen before, but I haven't seen them in a while. So I was watching Eurotrip. Eurotrip's a classic. I love Eurotrip. So basically, for the people that haven't seen it, it's basically about 4 friends that backpack through Europe and get into adventures. The lead character has a pen pal from Germany. He thought it was a man,
Mike.
but Mika. He thought it was Mike. So my ringtone for the longest time was from Eurotrip. It was like, Mail, motherfucker. Mail. It was one of the best. So when I didn't know Fred Armisen was the creepy Italian guy. He was like, mi scusi, buongiorno. So that was a good movie to watch. I also watched the movie Peaceful Warrior. This is a movie, a 2006 drama. The star from Eurotrip, I'm probably gonna butcher his name. His name is, what is it? Scott. His name is actually Scott. Scott Melowitz is his name. So he plays a gymnast named Dan Millman, which is based off a true story. So basically, this movie is about a pompous, arrogant asshole. This guy, he can get anything he wants. He can get all the women he wants. He's very cocky, very self-centered. He gets great grades, and he thinks he's on top of the world. And then he meets Nick Nolte, which is kind of like a Socrates type character. So he's like a Mr. Miyagi and Mickey mixed. So he gives him life lessons. He's like, there's more than just good grades, women, and self-centered and all this work you can do. You got to look who you are and all that stuff inside. You got to know who you are as a human being. You got to look inside yourself. So it was kind of like a thinker type movie. So it kind of makes you want to work harder. So I thought that was kind of a cool movie to watch. And the last movie I watched the Poseidon Adventure. R.I.P. Gene Hackman. I know. So I was like, this was a good movie to watch. I remember my dad showed me this when I was a kid. So it stars Gene Hackman, Ernest Borgnine, Red Buttons, Shelley Winters, Jack Alberson from Willy Wonka. And believe it or not, I didn't know this. Leslie Nielsen, the Naked Gun, he's the ship captain, which was kind of, yeah, I thought that was really cool. So, American disaster film. The film is based off of a ship that's capsized by a tidal wave, and they have to go and on an adventure try to survive and get out of the ship. So, a little fun adventure movie to watch was really, really nice. And I was like, Gene Hackman, you can't beat that. He just died a couple weeks ago, so I thought it was a good movie to watch.
Fun adventure movie, as long as you're not about to get on a cruise ship.
Yeah, right.
No, not anytime soon.
Does anybody think that Nick Nolte is like one eight ball away from being Gary Busey at any given moment? Like maybe they're actually the same person?
It's possible. Yeah, they're both around the same age and they're equal as crazy.
And they look
They
the
both
same.
play the same. They both played the same types of characters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can you imagine Nick Nolte and Gary Busey doing a movie together? Oh, God.
How could you tell them apart?
Crazy and crazier, you'll call it. Oh,
All right. One of the bros.
Good, dude.
What am I watching? Well, before I came and was put in the hospital, I was um reliving my childhood and watching Beverly Hills 90210. I'm almost finished with that. So I was going to be looking for something else. I did watch the first two episodes of Daredevil. I haven't watched the third one yet. I'm looking for something that's going to I don't know, spark interest or anything like that. And then now that I'm in the hospital and when I'm trying to go to sleep and I need to kind of relax and chill, I've been watching Critical Role all over again. The Vox Machina one, their first campaign. It helps put me to sleep because I know it already. But it also is very I love this story. So it's real nice, and I'm getting some ideas for my own story. So I'm getting ready to I'm putting together, I was telling Jack yesterday, I've been world building in my head, but coming up with an adventure at the same time. So that way when we're done, whatever with Tales of the Keep, then if we want to continue, if our characters are all still alive, we can continue with that, and maybe I can run it and have somebody else either play Jal or take Jal out, and go from there, or roll new characters and start from the beginning. So might be something cool to roll new stuff up. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, so that way I can get ideas. I've been watching other videos on world building, character building, and things like that, which is where I came up with the idea during my segment. The next time I'm going to pick somebody and we're going to talk about their character. And everybody can ask questions and this, that, and the other thing. So that way we all get to know our characters because we haven't done it in game and we really should have.
I
Right.
thought we sat around the fire and did that.
No, we never did.
We started to, and then
A
there
little
was
bit. It kind of got moved along. Yeah.
Yeah, Luke moved it along.
But DC,
With the
if you're
dream.
looking for a TV show to watch, Paul's got a recommendation for you.
What, Supernatural?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. I got my list of them.
That list is too long.
we got for every Bond movie in there because he hasn't watched any of the Bond movies.
What?
We'll
Nope.
just call the segment "What Hasn't Paul
Wait a minute,
Watched
wait a
This
minute, wait a
Week?"
minute, wait a minute. Back up.
Yeah, he has not watched a single
That's
Bond movie.
for real.
Not
I've
a
never seen a Bond
single
movie.
James Bond movie. Not
Nope.
Sean Connery, not Roger Moore, not
Timothy Dalton.
Not a one.
There is one of Timothy Dalton, so you can watch that.
No, he had
No,
Do you
two.
have
Yeah,
two?
two.
It was two. Okay, there's
did
two.
too.
License to Kill and The Living Daylights.
Ah,
That's right.
I know those names.
No, you don't.
I've heard of those.
yeah, but not in Bond movies.
Fun
Right.
fact: Christopher Walken was a villain in one of them.
Yes, he was.
That doesn't
Yes.
shock me.
But,
at all.
do you remember which one?
Octopussy.
No,
Nope.
Damn.
That
Oh, the
was
man with
just
the golden
fun to
gun.
Nope.
no.
Damn. What is it?
View to a Kill.
Okay.
Took me a second. I couldn't remember. I know it was View, but I couldn't remember what
Yep.
it was.
You do a
View to
kill.
a Kill.
Nice.
So-
Corbs.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you been watching?
TV.
Hopefully. There you go.
I haven't really been watching too much. I have just the two shows that I normally end up watching. Fire Country and Tracker. Those are the only two I watch right now.
Nice.
I mean, I got other ones that I want to watch, and I've recorded like Shifting Gears and Going Dutch. I love Shifting Gears. Just there's just not enough hours in the day.
I hear you.
I know why Paul has a huge list of everything that he has to watch because, well, there's not enough fucking hours in the day.
Sir.
Insane.
So
All right.
that's
Well,
that's literally. I mean, I watch The Big Bang at night, but that's
Right. That
one of
doesn't
those-
count. That's just there it is. Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things that's on. I put it on the TV. A lot of times I'm finger fucking my phone at the same time. So yeah, you can't use that as a title.
Did you say what I think you
No,
just
yeah,
said?
that's
I
exactly
didn't
what he
even
said.
want to hear that. Let
That would be the
alone-
perfect title.
That's just,
Just
I mean,
the
that's
look
just an amazing analogy.
That's what you're
Fucking
watching,
your
Corbs.
phone.
You're watching finger stuff on your phone.
the
Finger stuff.
look on
The
Paul's face
fact
going,
that rolled off your tongue so
Oh.
easily, like it's something you've thought about.
well, I say it all the time. And you want to know the best part about it is it's not even my saying.
Outstanding.
I got it from 3 Iron.
And of course you did. Yeah.
In Minnesota, we were at the golf course one day, and he's like, we were talking or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, my wife just sit in the living room, finger fuck our phone for 2.5 hours in the same room. Don't even talk to each other." I'm like,
Even better.
"What?" But the look on Paul's face when I said that, he's like, "That's a fucking perfect title. Can't fucking use it."
Yeah.
Can't you just use finger with the F and then like with all our faces on a phone or something like that? Like, like that could be the title.
but
It's-
that's
Too much.
still dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
He'd put
All right.
finger touch in my phone.
Oh.
Well, I guess it's my turn. I've only got two things, and one is just like everybody else, Daredevil, Born Again. I've seen the first 2 episodes. You haven't even seen those yet, Corbs?
Nope.
Oh, you're
Okay,
missing
we
out.
can't talk about it.
Super good.
Not enough fucking hours in the day.
I know.
It's so good, Corbs.
Super good. I'm excited for this week's episode, but again, there's no goddamn time. I might get to it Saturday night if I'm lucky. So,
I thought we were going to talk about it tonight, so I was like, it's
You guys
11
can-
o'clock. I need
look-
to go to bed, but I want to watch it.
Look. I've always told you guys can talk about it. It doesn't ruin it for me. You guys want to talk about the show? Talk about the show. I do not give a shit.
all right.
I
Do you
can't
want
do
to go
that
into
to
a
you.
little bit, or do you want to just bounce until next week until we got the third one under our belts, and maybe the fourth?
Won't have the I won't have the fourth.
Yeah, me either. It's
No.
they're premiering too late on a Tuesday night. But it's phenomenal so far. I'm really enjoying it.
Yes.
Starts right off with a holy shit moment.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was reading that the second and third episodes were apparently what the original premiere was, and a lot of that first episode
Was the
was
rewrite?
all new stuff, was the rewrite. Yeah.
Really?
Um,
Okay.
the other thing that I'm running into is, and this may happen further on, but they've mentioned because we're sketchy on what actually counts from the Netflix series and what doesn't. Because now that they've kind of made it canon, but you have to fit it in the MCU, and we don't know if all of it's canon or not. Um, they've alluded to Fisk having a criminal past, and it's just he went from criminal past to mayor. He went from being, shot somewhere and having no scar. I feel like there's a lot of story we don't have there, and I wonder if they're even going to try to bridge that gap or not.
Right. Yeah, it's
Because wasn't he in prison for a while? Didn't
yes, and
Murdoch? Yeah, Murdoch.
they do reference it
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how you go from that
to
to
being the mayor of all of a sudden. And
yeah.
That
they
happened
referenced that
rather
he went
quick.
away to heal too from being shot in the face.
Mm.
Because that happened in what, Hawkeye?
Yeah,
And then did you watch Echo?
I did, but I don't
Okay.
remember if
It
that was
was a
addressed.
forgettable show, but I mean that was the aftermath of him getting shot in the face too, which I'm still trying to figure out how you survive getting shot in the face point blank. But
Ask Carl.
Oh,
Oral.
Carl.
Oh.
He
Yeah,
had
but
he ate the chocolate pudding to make him feel better, Corbs.
but Carl was missing an eye. Wilson Fisk, it doesn't look like
Not
he was
even a
shot.
scar. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But again, I mean, we're talking about a superhero show, so
Ask Serpico.
Yeah, but I mean, even with a superhero show, he's not a metahuman or whatever. So I mean, I feel
know
like
of.
they need to address that. Now, we didn't actually see the shot. We heard the shot. She could have been aiming at his head and ended up shooting him in the shoulder or something. I don't know, but I just feel like that would be something they'd want to address.
Yeah. And I'm hoping we will get something. If not this season, maybe next season. Something will touch on it, I hope. Because I mean, throughout Echo, I mean, he did have like the gauze patch over that eye. And the
Yeah.
eye looked
Well,
fucked
yeah.
up. But I mean, he
Oh,
looked
see,
like he
I'd
had a
forgotten
really
about
bad
that.
case of pink eye. But
But applaud Charlie Cox though. He's really good at Daredevil, and the opening sequence of the show just brought you back to the Netflix type vibes. I
Mhm.
really enjoy that. It's so cool how that's done.
yeah, that was phenomenal. I do miss the original opening from the Netflix days. I
I
love that.
know.
So, but
Real
well,
quick though, how many episodes are this season? Do we know? I don't know.
There's
I'm
going to
not
be at
sure.
least 8.
8?
There'll be at
Okay.
least 8. 24.
Somewhere between 8 and 24.
I thought like 11,
And
but
that's
I
a
could be
good
wrong.
guess. He's probably right.
Yeah,
Hold on. 9.
9. 9.
So that is between 8 and 24. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go.
999.
Yeah.
All right. And the only other thing that I got a chance to watch finally was the 4:30 movie. Kevin
No.
Smith's latest film.
Oh.
Came out like a year ago. Takes place in 1986. It's a whole teen comedy romance movie, kind of based on that same year in Kevin Smith's life with different character names and all that. I was like, okay, it's a teen movie. Maybe we can all watch it as a family. 5 minutes in, they're talking graphically about masturbation and getting to second base, and Kristen goes, "Yeah, Paul, this is really appropriate for your kids." It was
Here's
good.
You
this
can't do anything
thing.
right.
If you put the name of a movie and then put Parents Guide, it'll bring you to the IMDb page for that movie, and it will tell you what's in there, whether it's nudity or violence or whatever. You should really use
I
that.
probably
Paul
ought
just
to.
saw Kevin Smith and he's like, sold.
No, I have owned this movie for like a year
Oh.
since it came out, and I'm like, I've got to find time to watch it. And now we're looking for something to watch. And I lied to myself, is what I really did, because it's a fucking Kevin Smith movie.
Right.
And I was like, oh, this is going to be fine for the kids. This is about a bunch of teenagers. Yeah, well, I forgot things like Porky's exist. So,
Right.
Good movie.
Four keys.
That's a great movie.
That's
Um,
that's going back.
But it was good. If you're a fan of Kevin Smith movies or anything like this, like the whole teen comedy raunchy thing, give it a check. Check it
Did
out.
they
It's a good
was
time.
Jay and Silent Bob in it?
Um,
Was it from the ASCII-verse?
it's from the Universe,
Yeah.
yes, but there is no Jay and Silent Bob in it. It
Uh,
is filled with cameos, though.
is it?
Filled. Like everybody from Jason Lee to
Well, that movie came
um
out a while ago. You said the 43 movie, right? Or whatever it is. Movie. No.
430. Yes.
Okay, different movie. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, but
Yeah.
everybody except Kevin Smith shows up in it,
Wow.
Okay.
which I just realized Kevin Smith doesn't have a part in it at all. But they're all in it. But that's all I've got.
Okay.
So, do we have anything else to touch upon, or are we going to finish this thing?
Are we touching?
I don't
our-
want to. I don't want to hear about what Corbs is touching.
Nothing right now.
You could have said, "Do we have anything else to finger fuck?" Because that's how Corbs rolls.
No touchy.
No, touchy.
No touchy touchy.
Tushy tushy.
They call me Uncle Touchy.
Oh God. It's like your creepy uncle that's coming to touch Muscoozy.
All right, Paul. Enlighten us.
We must accept one central truth and responsibility as participants in a democracy. Freedom is not a state, it's an act. It is not some enchanted garden perched high on a distant plateau where we can finally sit down and rest. Freedom is the continuous action we all must take. And each generation must do its part to create an even more fair, more just society. This concept has been forgotten these past few months. It's time to remind them. It's time for a revolution. And the revolution will be streaming.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.